Yeah, here we go. All right, good morning. I'm going to share my screen now, and today we're going to talk about buyer and listing presentation guides. So let me just get into Command. So first thing you're going to do is log into Command at agent.kw.com. Okay. And today we're going to be going into designs. So if you click the red box here, you're going to go right into designs. It's the little one that looks like paper and paintbrush. Okay. And don't get nervous if you don't see anything here. These are all the ones that you've already done. So if you haven't done any designs yet, you won't see any, and that's okay. So in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to go to Create Design. And I'm going to pick print because your buyer and listing guides are going to be something that either you're going to print or download to a PDF that you can email out. So I'm going to pick print and continue. And this is going to bring you to a site, and it's going to say We Brand up here. So this is the site that we use to create all of our social media and any of our things that we're designing, like the magazine or the guides or whatever else that you're doing. The first thing I want you guys to do, which will make it easier in the long run, is we're going to go to Assets up here at the top. And under Images, I'm going to ask you to upload any logos that you use. I'm sorry, Images is actually your headshots. So under Images, you're going to click this Upload button. And, you know, wherever it is, most times it'll just be on your hard drive, my device. And you're going to search for your headshot, and you're just going to upload it in here. And it'll just make your life that much easier. Okay, I ran out of logo spots because I have a lot. So I put some in here as well, but you guys should be fine. But get your headshot in here. If you have a couple you want to choose from, put them both in. Under logos, you guys should upload the logo for your market center. So I think you guys are all New City, right? I also can send you the logos if you don't have them already. I uploaded, there's different versions, right? So we have the red with the gray, the red with the white. You can't really see it here. This one's all white. All right, just depending on the type of design you're using, you may want to use different ones. And I'll show you why. It's a little bit of work up front. It will make your life that much easier later on. Also under text, if there's any, you know, it'll put like the link for your app is already in here. Your postal code, if you have a little tagline, you know, whatever, if you want to put in here as well. I think it pulls some of it right from your marketing profile, but you can always change anything that you want. All right, once you have your assets set up, we're going to come over here to templates. All right, and the assets you only have to do once. Once they're in, they're in. All right, your buyer guide, we're going to find on the left-hand side under buyer, and then buyer presentation. Okay. Do I have any questions so far? I just want to make sure you guys are good. Okay. All right. So they have a few different styles. So you can like click on them and decide which one you want to use. You know, there's the modern one. You know, you just click on them and just decide which style seems more like you. I'm just going to pick this first one for today. Okay. And I'm going to click use. So this is the one I'm going to choose. The first thing that I'm going to tell you is the buyer guide is 32 pages. I don't know if you could see here on the left, it says 32 pages. I don't suggest you give your buyers 32 pages. You kind of need to go through this and see what pages you want to include. You know, you may not want to include every page, and that's fine. I don't think you need to. You sort of have to go through it and see. So they give you a cover page here. I also suggest that you create one maybe without, that you don't have to print out every time, like a generic one. Like this one, you can customize with their first name and the last name on there, and that's great. But I also suggest that you have a couple printed ready to go. Somebody may call you and you have to run out, keep them in your car. And this way you always have it with you. And we always like to be prepared. I'm not saying that you shouldn't customize it, but we just do the generic ones. And if I have time, I'll customize them. If not, I just go with the basic one. So the first time that you use this, you're going to have to go through every page and know it's not fun. And we're going to have to customize it for you. But once you have that, you can easily make a copy, and all you'll have to do is change a couple of things each time. So it may take you an hour, set aside an hour to go through this and, customize it for you. So the first thing on here, so you can make it bigger so you guys can see it here. This is the first page. Down here, you'll see Royal Realtors and then the DBA name. Do not send this out the way it is because you'll be embarrassed later on, right? You're not a member of Royal Realtors and your KW office is not DBA name. So to replace the DBA name, we're going to click on the logo and you'll see the little blue box around it. You're going to come over and find the logo that you want to use. So I'm going to pick this one, and it's very simple. You click this replace logo button, and what it does, it'll size it right for you in the shape in that box. So I clicked on the DBA name, oops, with the blue box around it. Now I'm going to come over here and hit replace logo, and it replaced it automatically. I'm just going to make it a little bigger so it's easier to see. Are any of you guys on a team? No? If you have another logo or a team logo, or just even a little picture, if you want to put your headshot on here, that's fine. I'm going to replace this. We actually have a team logo, but if you don't worry about it. You either can delete this. So you hit the garbage can, it'll remove it. You could put your headshot on the front if you want, whatever. We can replace it with a headshot, although it's a different shape. So it will look a little weird, I think. Yeah. So you could just stretch that out so it looks normal. You just grab the side, stretch it out. It's up to you, or you can just delete it if you don't want to use it at all. Okay, and just delete this little background thing.
Hey, Eileen, really quick. I have to switch my devices, but you have to let me into the session.
Okay, all right. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, yeah, I
Thank you.
see that. Okay, I got two people here. All right, got it. All right, is this Monique? You just said that, or?
Is being recorded.
Yeah, my phone's dying.
Oh, that's okay. All right, I just let you in. Thanks for telling me. And if you guys see anybody who's waiting to get in, just let me know. All right. So that was page 1. Okay. So we got page 1 done. Next, page 2 is something you're going to want to delete later, but for now you can keep it. This just gives you instructions. So you can print it out if you want. What it's telling you here, I'm just going to close this. If you click this little arrow here, it'll close the box. It gives you instructions on using it. So what it's saying is that it's, that you need to customize it by deleting pages, parts of it, paragraphs, passages that you don't use all the time. You can add things that make it sound more like you. How do you go to the next page? Sure, Meryl. Over here, I click on pages. So before I was on page 1, now I'm going to go to page 2. Okay. And if you want page 3, you click page 3. So that's how you switch the pages that you want. All right, I'm just going to close it so it's easier for you guys to see. There's going to be a page talking about neighborhoods. It's saying if you've spoken to your buyers already about what neighborhoods they're interested, you can include them. You may want to take them out and include them later in a separate packet. It's up to you. So, look at that. About Keller Mortgage, you can put it in. You don't have to put it in, but if you do, you have to keep that last page that says the affiliated business arrangement disclosure at the end, and we'll get to that. Buyer preference profile builder, you may or may not want to use that. And how buying a home works, financing your home. You may want to use this with a first-time buyer. If your buyer wants a checklist, you also just need to customize that checklist for things that we do here in New York and things that you do as well. So just keep note of this. After you're done, getting your instructions, when we get ready to save this, we're actually going to delete this page because you don't want this to be in your packet. So to delete it, I would click the 3 dots here and then click delete. I'm just going to keep it in for now in case we need to reference it. All right, now I'm going to page 3. And we're not going to go through every page. I'm just going to go through a few pages to show you guys how to do it. And we'll talk about anything that's in here. So this one here says a custom consult. So actually that first page, yeah, I wonder if we would use this because it seems like there's 2 cover pages. There's this one, and then there's this one. So maybe you would pick and choose which one to use. So on this one, so this is the first page. It says a custom consultation for, so I'm going to click on client name. So let's say you know the client's name and you want to customize it. I should go back. if you click this little typewriter key here, it'll allow you to change the text. It's a lot easier than trying to click in here and line up. So all you have to do is simply go to this typewriter, and I'm going to use Minnie's name just because it's easy and she's showing up. I'm going to do caps lock. So Minnie. Okay. Like I said, you may want to create one with no name on it, just so you're ready to go. Okay. But then you'd want to change the text up here because the text does say a custom consultation prepared with care for. So you may want to change what that says. So right now we're in the middle of winter and we're in the Northeast. So this probably isn't the best picture that you want to use. I also suggest switching up the pictures a lot so that your presentation doesn't look like the next person's. So if Minnie does this one and Emily does the same one, you kind of want to make it look a little different. So if you go over here to images, and you can either add your own images. So if you have a great house with some pictures that you've taken, feel free to use them. That's fine. If not, which most of us, if you're new, you don't have anything, right? If you go to stock, Keller Williams has a whole bunch of these, I guess from, looks like from Shutterstock, anything here that you see that you want to use. Also under workspace, they have some pictures with like, this one's house interiors. So you may want to pick a nice house interior. There's also house exterior. So if there's a home here that you like, you can use that. I was also going to look at, you have lifestyle at home. So if you want to pick something like, I don't know, this family running outside the house, you'll click on the image, right? So you got the blue box around, or come around to this family running outside a house, and you could make that your, you know, the picture on your cover. So it looks nice, right? Every time you're good, not every time. So what you're going to do, like I said, this is one time only. You're going to swap out your headshot. So again, I'm going to go to images and then my assets. And then your headshot should just be here. So we're going to swap that out. I'm going to make it a little bigger just so it pops. And here you're going to change your name. So I'm going to come up to the typewriter. And again, I'm just going to type in first name, last name. And I'm going to save the changes at the bottom. And it's going to change it here for me. Okay. Again, I'm going to come over and change out the logo. Let's see if I can. Just make sure you have that blue box. I'm going to come to the logo for New City. I'm going to replace it. And I'm just going to pick it up a little bit. There's a little disclosure on here. I don't know if you guys can see it, that you just need to leave on, which is fine. It could be small. It's, well, actually, this isn't the disclosure. That's how small it is. I'm going to change this because if you look at the text, it says Keller Williams Realty Market Center, and they make up some address here. So I'm going to make this Keller Williams Hudson Valley Realty. And for you guys, it's 10 Esquire Road. New City, New York. 6. Okay, so I'm going to save that. The only thing is I feel like that's really tiny, really tiny. So I am going to come up, I'm going to keep clicked on the box, and I'm going to make this a little bigger. So right now it's only at 6 points. I'm going to make it 10 points. And if I wanted to stretch out a little further, I'm just going to bring it over like this, just so it fits a little better. Okay, so now at least you can read it, right? I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to delete this logo. Do that twice. I think it's bigger. Can you guys see this? I know it's tiny. Move the logo over. The other thing here, you have to put in, whatever information you want on the front. I'm just going to stretch it out. So I'm going to come back into the typewriter. So it's asking for your website. I'm going to put her email address in. Okay, so this is, you can actually put the Market Center website if you want to just leave it at, I don't know why they put that in there. And then put your phone number in here. I think for New York, you have to just state if it's your cell or the office. So I'm going to put in here Rosemary cell. And I'm just gonna put a little C in the front so people know it's her cell. You could also put the office number in as well if you happen to have a direct office line, but if you put your cell, this way the people will call you. All right, I'm gonna save the changes. And so now you could see it here. I still feel like it's a little small, so I'm just gonna change it up to 12. Okay, so now here we have our cover page all customized. Okay, do you guys have any questions? No? Okay. All right, so now we're going to roll along. So that was page 3. We're going to go to page 4. And this is going to be a table of contents. So if you're going to take anything out, just make sure, any of the pages, just make sure that you take it out on the table of contents, right? So if you want to say, let's say at your service, you would just come up to the typewriter, take that one out, delete it, delete the space, and save it. And this way it's gone. If you want to add something, just make sure you change that, or don't even use a table of contents. Let's say you say, I don't even want to use it. You can delete it. Mira?
Eileen, how do you get to the typewriter?
Sure. So if you click on something that you want to change, some text.
Okay.
So you see the blue box around here? It's right here, typewriter.
Where? Oh,
Here at the top.
yeah, I got
See
it.
that? Okay. Yeah, so if
Yes.
you click on that, you can actually, just so you know, you can actually try and like double click in here and pick where you want. It's just a lot easier doing it from here. And just make sure
Yeah.
you save your changes, all right? Also, I could talk about, let's say you want to change the font color. Let's say you want to make this pop a little. I could come over here for the fill color. And so these are the template colors. These are the colors in the template. So if I want to make the text over here red, I could just pick the red. If you want to make up your own color, you could pick your own color, whatever you want to do. All right. So now it's red. You want to bold something, you can click bold, italicize, underline, change the case. So if you want to make it all capitals versus lower. So there's just a few tools in here that you can use. All right. So if you want, say you decide you don't want to use table of contents, I could just come in here and delete it. Now it's gone. So I don't even have it anymore. All right. Then I want you guys to go through each page. Again, you can mix up the pictures. So let's say I want to replace this one. I'll go over to images and I'll pick a workspace. And maybe I want to pick, I don't know, let me find a good family. I don't know, these guys at the kitchen table. Say I replace them. Okay. I like that one actually. You can change the pictures just so it's a little more custom. If you look through the text and make sure this sounds like you, okay, you can tweak it a little bit if you want. Again, you would click on the text box. You don't have to. I mean, Keller Williams does a great job, but just go in. It just talks about investing in a home is one of the most important decisions you'll make, blah, blah, blah. So this actually sounds pretty good, but if there's something you want to add, feel free, All right, so then we'll go to the next page. So you're kind of going to go through all the pages. This one says your needs come first. Visualize your home. So this is if you haven't really talked to people so much about what they want, it just gives some questions for you to bounce off of them. Like, what's the one thing that has happened to make that dream scenario a reality? How can I make that happen for you? Why is it important to you? So you can actually give this to them separately, some of these pages if you want, or, include it in your packet. So it's up to you. Again, you could tweak the questions here. Also, this is nice because it gives you something to talk about what their preferences are. Have you considered who the contact will be? Are you going to contact the husband or the wife? Whoever it is, the timeline. So here's some great questions. So like I said, you can either include it in the packet and go over it with them, or you can kind of send it to them separately before you meet. And this way you have the answers, when you meet with them. It's totally up to you. You could tweak what this all says, if there's anything that you want to change in here, that's fine too. All right. So this is your home wish list. Who will be living in the home? What are the non-negotiables? Again, go through here and just tweak, questions. This is really good for the first-time home buyers. Things that they probably haven't thought about. A person buying their second home probably has a better idea. Okay. Next page. your home wish list. So again, decide if you want to do it. You could swap the picture out if you want. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pick an exterior picture. I'll just pick something, pick this one. You know, just if you have pictures, that's fine too. Just don't use somebody else's pictures from the MLS. If there's another agent that you want to use their picture and you ask them, that's fine, but you have to ask. Okay. Your home wish list, again, go through this and decide if you want to include it or not. You know, so you can kind of have make two guides, one of things that you give them in advance and one of things that you give them maybe when you meet them. You just have to, you know, save it twice. Again, your preference neighborhood. So this is if you've had a conversation with them, or this is talking to them about what preferences they may want to live in. What neighborhoods or areas would you enjoy living in? Are there any specific streets or characteristics that you're drawn to? If applicable, what school districts do you prefer? Where do you work? So these are just some questions about them. You know, like I said, you can tweak them. Over here, just make sure if you're going to use this page, it talks about using your website. So over here, you're going to want to tweak what your website is. Okay. So we would just click on this and go back to the typewriter and put in your website. So everybody's website through Keller Williams, can't spell, ends in .kw.com. And I'll show you how to find it if you don't already know what your website is. Okay. So ours is houseshudsonvalley.kw.com. All right. So let me just make this bigger so you guys can see it. So now that's what it says. Okay. So I'm going to open up again and I'll go to the next page. Getting to know their neighborhood. Again, it's asking for your website. So you're going to want to change that. Map your move. There's only one right. Okay. It says, when is the best time to buy? There's only one right answer: when you find a home that you love, right? Inventory and economy will wax and wane, but when you find a house you see yourself in, the timing is just right. So if you want, it says here below, take a comparative look at neighborhoods with inventory that fits your preferences. Right now, you could type this up at today and you have the appointment tomorrow and the house is gone, right? So you may want to take that part out. I'll show you, you can customize this with neighborhoods. Personally, I think the best thing to do is get information from the MLS, especially because things are so fluid right now and there's very little on the market. But if you want, I'll show you how to do this where you actually can put a little neighborhood insight. You can actually get the picture for each neighborhood, and I'll show you how to do that after, because you have to just do that separately and we'll upload that. Oh, actually, I think you can do it from here. I'm sorry. We're going to do it right now. Sorry about that. Okay. So this one says Barton Hills. Okay. So if we go to KWLS on the left, when you use designs, you can pull images from a listing, or you can actually create a market snapshot. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I know we've talked about next door neighborhoods, and luckily for you guys down here in Rockland and Orange, the neighborhoods from next door are pretty good. So you can either choose to do a snapshot for a zip code or for a next door neighborhood. So the next door neighborhoods are hyper local. They're really local. Like New City alone has about 10 neighborhoods. Okay. That's how local they are. So it's up to you how specific the people are, where they want to live. So I'm going to actually do it. You can either do it by postal code or neighborhood name. I'm going to pick by postal code. It just gives a little more space. So I'm going to pick 10956. So what's going to happen is it's going to pull up these little images. So to fit in this spot, so you can use these images in something else if you want, but to fit in this spot, I'm going to swap out the Barton Hills one with New City. So I'm going to replace that one. So let's say they're interested in New City, and I'm going to say, I don't know, Nanuet, because I know the zip code. So 10954. So now I have one for Nanuet also. So I'm going to click on there. I'm going to replace it. And you don't have to do this at all. You could just do one zip code. So I'm just going to change names up here. And for some reason, they did it weird. They did one text box and it comes out a little weird. So I'm just going to, if I could make it small. All right, I'm just going to retype in here. new city. And I'm going to save the changes. And then I'm just, what you can do is you actually can copy a text box. So if I click on the text box that says new city, if I come over here, there's duplicate, I can actually copy that. So I'm going to copy it. So now I have two. I'm going to pull this one over here. And I'm just going to change what this one says. I'm going to make this one Nanuet. All right, so now you have two. I don't know if you guys can see it that well. You guys can try and come in here. It's a little small, but you can see it circles. This is all of New City. And then the other one over here is all of Nanuet. It just circles it on a map for you. That's all it's doing. All right. Then if you want to fill in this information, you can. I'm just going to stretch the text box out just so it's easier to put the information in. And then you would come to your text box and change and add the information. So you would have to get this, probably MLS is the best place, or every month Rosemary does those reports. You could take the numbers off there too. So let's say the average list price in New City is, I don't know, 500,000. Then the average selling price is 525. So personally, I don't think we would use this for our team, but if you want to, you would go through and fit everything in, and put all the information in, and it would look like that. And this is for them to add some notes. So I'll show you what the page would look like. So this is what the information would look like. So if they're really specific where they want to live, you may want to do this. Okay. Any questions about that? No? Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go to the next page. How home buying works. So just look through this and make sure that everything is the order that you want, that things that we do in our, like prepare for escrow, just make sure it's things that we do here in New York, right? Just take stuff out that doesn't make sense. You kind of have to go through it a little with a fine tooth comb. Again, only do this once. So if you have questions, speak to Meralda. Those of you in her productivity coaching, if you're not sure what to include and what not to include, she can help you with that. All right. So it just gives them a timeline kind of what to expect. And stay in touch with your agent for current or future recommendations in regard to your new home. So kind of just go through everything. Let's see what else. This is about financing, right? Again, go through it and just make sure everything in here makes sense for you for where we live. Home loan made simple. So this is the whole thing with Keller Mortgage. If you want to include that, if you don't want to include that, that's fine. You could just go in and delete. It's gone. Okay. Because again, sending somebody 30 pages is a lot. For you new guys, you may not want to put in all this information here on the right. How many years in business? If it's only like 1 year, you may not want to include it. If you only have one client or no clients, don't include it. Repeat clients, customers served in the previous year. So I would go in here if you're new, and I would just probably take all this out. Or you can add other things, take this out and make it something else, whatever you want. Go through. The page is fine. Just if you're new, you kind of don't want to highlight that you're new. If they ask you, don't lie, but you may not want to highlight that. So you can actually put something else, whatever you want in here. This is our, what is it they call our belief system, which I think is great. People like that, win-win or no deal. Again, if you decide to use it, come in here and customize it with your own name. Save the changes. And like I said, if you have your image here already, if I go to images under my assets, I'm just going to swap the picture out and it sizes it right for you. If you want to put your credentials in, I don't know if anybody cares about some of these things, but if you do something in the community, you may want to put that in, like they have here, this person is a board member on this trust, whatever it is that you do that you think makes you important. Or if you've lived in the county for, instead of 15 years in business, you could be 15 years lived in Rockland County or 15 years on some board that you're on, or you're volunteering, or whatever it is that you do that you want people to know. You can change all this up, okay? Again, swap out the logo. That's why I have you do the assets. So it takes 2 seconds to swap it out. Oh, what I do? And then it's gonna, also, if you make a mistake, like I added this instead of swapping it, if you go to this undo button, whatever you just did that you messed up, it goes away. So I'm gonna click again on the logo and I'm gonna swap it out. And it's right there. Again, if you look small here is the address. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. And then I'm gonna have to go in and change the address. All right, so you would go into the typewriter again and, you know, change the address to new cities. All right, any questions about, so far I know I'm doing a lot here. All right, so you're gonna go in page by page. I'm just gonna, again, here's the competitive advantage. Again, if you're new, you may not wanna put this in. It's talking about the proof is in your numbers, how many days it took your people to find homes, close sales. Right now, it's really tough. You may just want to leave this whole page out, or just take away the right side and leave in that you're an industry insider, you're a local expert, and you're tech enabled. So, you know, read through it. All right, I'm just going to go quickly to the end now, because you can go through all the pages. This is also, if you have testimonials, you can put them in here, right? So we're going to just copy any testimonials your clients have left you, change it, and then put their, you know, put their name or the first name, whatever you want to do, client since whenever. Again, swap out the pictures. If you don't have any testimonials, just delete that page. Just take it away. It's like it never happened, okay? I'm just going to go all the way down to the end. Oh, there's a promise. Oh, yeah. Let me find that. This talks about COVID and everything. You know, things have changed since it started. So just read through it and make sure whatever it says is still happening. You know, I know they just lifted the mask mandate. I don't know what that means for agents showing homes. I would assume that people still want you to wear a mask in their house, but the bottom line, I just want to find that page that said my promise, because if you're saying it's your promise, I want to make sure that everything that you're promising you're going to do, right? So I'm just your trusted partner. This one's okay. If you want to change the picture, you can. I think this one's a promise to you. Just make sure if you're promising that you're going to do everything that it says here, okay? If you want to change them up a little bit, like Minnie, your experience, you may, you know, want to tweak it a little bit more. But that's a good page to leave in. A promise to the community. So we do Red Day here. If you have a picture of yourself volunteering, so Red Day is a day that we give back to the community. We've done stuff at senior homes. We've done stuff at veterans, planting new flowers. So if you have a picture of yourself at Red Day volunteering, that's kind of cool. Enriching our community. So again, look at this because it's asking you to put Habitat and Humanity in a city name. So put something in here that means something to you and your community service. So this you're also going to want to customize. If you do no community service, just delete it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm taking it out. Okay. So I'm just going to go to the end. I just want to show you. What I like here too is they have commonly used terms. So, you know, read it over, but this is good for your new buyers that don't understand what certain words mean. So this is great. Definitely look this over. If you want to add something, you can. What's this? How you can get in touch with me, right? So you can change this to be your information. And this is the last page. They say if you use that Keller Mortgage information page, you must use this disclosure. So just be aware of that. I don't know if you guys are using Keller Mortgage or not. All right, so now we're done, right? Let's just say we're done customizing and we're ready to download it. The first thing you want to do is give this a name, which I forgot. So I'm going to call this buyer presentation. And you can, you know, give it a date, a name, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call this one class. Because you may create different ones for different things. So it's 2 ways to go about this. You can download it. So if you're going to be printing it out and actually handing it to them, I would download the PDF for printing. I also suggest printing it on a little bit of a higher quality paper. We do that and it ends up looking a little nicer. Okay, so you're going to download the PDF for printing and you're going to see, you're going to see, I think it's fine just the way it is. You're going to pick which pages you want. I'm going to pick all pages. You just have to be careful. So actually, if you keep this page in, but you don't want it, like that description page, I'm just going to uncheck it. So it'll download all the pages except for that one that I don't want to print. Okay, I'm going to click download. And it'll say preparing up here at the top, so you know that it's working. When it's ready, it'll download onto your hard drive. And we'll check that in a minute. Another alternative is you can download the PDF and email it to them. And another option, which I think is kind of cool, is see this share button here? If you click share, just make sure you pick the project, because if you pick the design, it will only share that one particular page. If you pick the project, it'll pick everything. Make sure you choose anyone can view. Otherwise, right now it looks like anyone from KW can view or a private design. So you want anyone can view, so anybody can view this. You're going to copy this link. And then when you email it out to them or text it to them and they open it in their browser, I'll show you what it looks like. They kind of get a little flip book where they could flip through the pages. Like a magazine, like a digital magazine, basically. So this is what it would look like. Obviously, you want to make sure you take that page out. Yeah, I don't think you need this front page if you're using this, actually. It's kind of redundant. All right, and they could just kind of flip through the pages, and it looks really nice. You also, from there, when they see it, they can download it, they can print it, they can go to full screen. So it looks really nice. This is the page that we did with the little insights, right? You can put the information in. All right. Here, the PDF just downloaded. I'm going to open it up. And like I said, this is something that you can either print or email back to them. All right. And the quality is really good. Do I have any questions about that? Was the buyer presentation? Any questions from you guys? No, everybody's got it? All right, so now I'm just going to show you, I won't spend as much time, but we'll talk about the listing presentation. That was the buyer presentation, all right? So I'll go back. All right, so now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to go back to designs and I'm going to create. Before we do that, I'm just going to show you. So here's our buyer presentation right here. This is the one we just did. If you want to go back in and make some changes, just click on it. It'll open up and you can tweak it. Okay, so you can come in and tweak it. I also want to show you, let's say we're done. Let's say you want to make a copy of it and just tweak a few things, but you want to keep the original. If you click on these three dots, you would make a copy. So now I have the original one and the copy. So I can come in here and I could rename it and I can call this one, let's say I make one for first-time home buyers, right? First-time home buyer presentation, okay? Or you can, change the person's, keep that and just change the person's name every time, right? So have one where you have a spot to put their name in and then have a blank one, like I said, that are pre-done, ready to go. All right. All right, so now we're back on the dashboard and we're going to go into designs where we are, and we're going to go to create design. And it's going to be something in print and continue. So the first one, the buyer guide, we found in the buyer section of templates under buyer, right? That's where we found our buyer presentation. This time we're going to go into listings. So we're going to find our listing presentation in here. And again, they give you options, okay? So you can go in and just see which one you like. I'll pick something different this time. I'll pick this one. And it's basically the same thing. You're going to go in and, make the changes. This one has 29 pages. With the instructions again, that, just little instructions for you to look at. So here's the front cover. So so this also says exclusively prepared for, so you could put their names in. I also have one that doesn't say that. I would come in, I could swap out the picture if I want. If you have a picture that you've already uploaded, that you have, like I have some pictures that we've done. Let's see. You could upload your own, or again, use any of the stock pictures. I haven't used these yet. These are new. These look like they're all beachy though. I don't know why they're doing beach pictures in the winter, but okay, that's fine. They're free. So I'm going to go back to workspace and I'm going to find lifestyle activities. Let's see what we have here. I don't really want that. I'm going to go for house exteriors. This one's nice for sale. Pick that one. Okay, so that's the front of it. Again, swap out your logo. Change your name, your image. And all your information, okay? All right, so we're going to go through the pages, make all your changes. Again, this one gives you a place to put 3 different pictures. So you could swap those out. If you don't really want to have this, if you're taking something out, you can change it up or just delete the page if you're not going to use it. There's a couple of things in here I just wanted to show you. So what this does, it gives you a chance, if you want, you can put in a picture of their home with their address, with their information. And it says right here, your home is 10% larger than other homes. Your home is the average number of bedrooms. Honestly, we don't use this page. Usually what we do is Rosemary likes to go in with no information on pricing, give them their listing guide. And then once she sees the home, then come back to them. And we use the MLS to do a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis with specifics on their home and what their home should cost. Someone can tell you they have a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bath with updated everything. And then you get there and it was updated, in 1972, right? So you want to make sure it doesn't smell like cat, right? You want to see the quality of everything. So you kind of, may not want to use these pages right up front before you see the house. So usually what she does is we'll either go meet the client with the package or we'll email it to them before. All right. So it's up to you. If you want to use it, that's fine. But you'd have to have a picture of their home and fill in the information. All right. Again, if you want to use some of these pages for this here, like what's happening in Barton Hills, if you click over here and we go over again to KWLS and we go to snapshots, I'm just going to pick New City again. So this one, well, let me see, I think it's this one, will fit in this spot. So I'm going to click on here and I'm going to replace it. So this is the information that it pulled about New City. I would also just double check it with the MLS because sometimes it may be a little different. So if you want to use it, that's fine. Close enough is fine. Just make sure that it's relatively close, right? So it's saying here in New City, the average list price is $642. Average sold price is $593. I would just double check all that in MLS. And then you would change what's happening in Barton Hills, obviously, to New City. And it says here, Barton Hills is an extremely desirable neighborhood. You just want to make sure all this makes sense for the area that you're doing. Okay. And it also asks for your app here. I'll show you guys where to find your website and your app links. Over here, it also gives you a place to find comparable properties. I do think it's easier. One Key is pretty good. They give you a whole CMA where they compare the homes and all their features. If you want, that's fine. You can go in and get the pictures and type all this up. I don't think it's necessary personally, but that's fine. Let's say you decide not to use it, you just delete it, okay? So our MLS is pretty good with the CMAs, so, but it's up to you. You know, if you want to use it, that's fine. This says here, again, visualize your dream scenario for selling your home. What's the one thing that has to happen to make your dream a reality? You know, just questions for the client. I did go through and tweak some of these things. So just make sure that, like I said, everything here, sometimes you don't always do a coming soon. It just depends on if they're ready when the pictures are taken. So you may want to take this out of your booklet just because, you know, if you're not always going to do a coming soon. Again, the just listed marketing campaign. Let's see, attorney review, negotiate contract, go under contract. See, this says facilitate inspection process. We do the inspection before the contract, right? So you're probably going to move that around. And then the appraisal, further inspections, final walkthrough. So just go through this and just make sure that it's what you want it to say. This says it talks about your app. So you can put your app information here. This quote talks about your custom marketing plan. So just make sure whatever it says you're actually going to do. All right. Oh, this came out weird. Stretch this out a little. Finding your buyer. So this just talks about how most people search on the internet, you know, and some people use a real estate agent, some people use a friend or relative. It just talks about, oh, sorry, finding the buyer for their home, where the buyers come from. Okay. This talks about your promoting. I think it talks about, let's see, how you're going to market things. That one wasn't very specific, but if it's specific and you're not going to do, let's say, postcards, and you're not going to do postcards, don't let it stay in here that you're doing postcards, okay? For instance, a property brochure. So unless you're going to do that, don't put it in there. A just listed flyer. This we actually do, and just listed postcard. If you're not going to do direct mail and postcards, I wouldn't put this in. So just decide on what you are going to do and what you're not going to do. And if you're not sure, don't even put this in. Okay. Again, this calls about the coming soon campaign. You know, just make sure that if you say you're going to do it, you're actually going to do it. All right. And if you're not sure, don't put the page in. And you can tweak it to be you. All right. This is the open house strategy. You know, with COVID, you know, things are a little different. Just make sure that you're still going to do open houses if you're comfortable. And then you're going to do all the things that it says here. If not, also it says things about knocking on doors, which we're not allowed to do sometimes. So, you know, like I said, just read through it. All right, you're going to go through the whole thing. Yeah, door knocking. We can't door knock here. So don't, you know, do that. If we suggest doing professional photography, but if you're not going to do professional photography, you're going to use your iPhone, don't say you're going to put in professional photography, right? So like I said, it'll take you a little while the first time to go through all this and set it up. But once you're set up, you're good to go. You may just add in their names or whatever. Again, you swap out your picture, any information you want them to know about you. If you're new, don't put in how many years you've been in business. You could change this box. You can even take out the whole thing. So let's say you decide, you know what? I don't even want this in here. You can go through deleting everything, even the red box. So it doesn't look like anything's even missing, right? Just make sure you take everything out. All right. So it's really easy. And if you want to add something, I didn't talk about that. So let's say you want to add something here. You can even add a text box. What is this? If you click add. No, what is this? I'm sorry. Usually it just, oh, here it is. You could decide what size the text should be. If it's just regular size text, you would add a text box here. And then if you want to change the font, like I would see what font they're already using. So they're already using this Roboto in 9 points. So I would just come over here and make this, if you want to do the same thing, Roboto in 9 point. And the 9 doesn't pop up, so you could just type it in. If you want to match it, and you can also change the color. So if I want to make it red, I can do that. All right. And then to change the text, you would just go here to the typewriter. And then say you want to italicize what's in here too. You could do that. You can underline, bold, whatever. Okay. Remember to change out the logo. And then down here is also the Market Center address. I'm going to make a little bigger because it's really tiny. All right, so you're going to go through everything. Just see if there's anything else I just need to tell you guys about. Right, so the proof is in my numbers. Again, if you're new, just take the page out because you don't have any numbers, right? But they don't need to know that. They're not noticing they're missing anything because they don't know. If you have any credentials and awards, great. If not, take the page out. You could also make this page anything else. You could change it to whatever else you want. Okay. All right, so when you're done, you'll go through everything. Again, we're either going to download it. I'll give it a name. Yeah, he's going to start getting a couple of these and they're all going to look the same. Excuse me. When you're ready, you're going to download as a PDF for printing, if that's what you're going to do, right? Or if you're just going to email a PDF standard is fine. Download your PDF for printing. Or if you just want to share it with them like a little lookbook, you can do that as well. And remember to pick the project so you get all the pages and anyone can view and just copy the link. And this is what they'll see. And they can go through it themselves. And if they want to download it or print it, they can. Any questions? Everybody is going to go home today and do this right away.
I have a question. So it's basically the same thing for the seller's perspectives. You just change a few things here and there.
Right, exactly. Right. So there's a buyer guide and a seller guide. Right. You do them the same way. Yep. Yeah. And then if you also want to see organized, let's say, because I have I have 295 things. I actually have to clean it up. If you go into Create Design, you can organize all of your designs. You can create little folders if you want. So under My Designs, these are all the ones that I've created. You can add a new folder. So you can create a folder. I'll just make this class memos. So you can kind of organize your stuff. Like I can move it. So you just drag it. Oops. And see how it turns blue as you hover over? If I let go, it'll go into this class demos folder. So you can kind of organize your things. So all the listing presentations that you do can kind of be in here, right? So if you want to organize what you've done, that's a way to do it. Any other questions, guys? All right, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to email you guys the video after the class so you can follow along if you forgot anything, because I know it's a lot. And I feel bad for you, Emily, because you probably had zero idea what I was talking about, but that's okay. You'll learn. Any questions, just reach out to me. My email is iangel@kw.com. And if you need help now that you've been to the class, I also have a Calendly link that you could set up an appointment with me. Let me get that for you. I had 2 people waiting to get in. I had a Calendly link that you guys can set up an appointment with me. So let me just get that for you guys. And I'll put that in the chat. Okay. All right, guys, thank you for attending today. And like I said, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. Okay,
Thank you.
take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining.